Hey, good afternoon, Conrad. Hey, Ian.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Doing pretty damn good.
Hey, how's it going?
We are busy as hell. I feel like I say that every single week, but like, we've been that way for months now.
That's a good thing,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, Ian, if you know anyone that's looking to get into our industry, like I'm happy to talk with them because you could help. What's going down in your world? You busy? You busy trying to kick everyone out? Hop in
Oh yeah, we're so yeah. I'm real busy too because I've already closed on two houses and now I'm under contract for another one. My guys they're already having to do like you said, we're having to do evictions. So when we do evictions, we got to renovate restore the places that we kick people out of. So we're just all kinds of busy right
Are
now.
most people going quietly or are they fighting it hard?
A lot of them are going quietly because they know, they're already like several months behind. They know that they're going, they're going to get kicked out. So,
Are you offering any of them cash for keys or are you just evicting them?
oh, not in Georgia.
Yeah.
No, no, just evicting. I never have to do cash for keys in Georgia. It's so easy to evict over there.
Nice.
That's
Well,
kind of
I
what
mean,
drew me away from Seattle because I was
yeah.
originally looking for an apartment complex in Seattle.
Hmm.
But that's what, I joined a property managers group and they were like, if you have a delinquent tenant, the best thing you can do is cash for keys because otherwise it's going to be, at least 3 months and you pay a lawyer like $2,000 retainer to start
Something
it.
like that. Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Ian, how come I was wondering, I think we've talked about this before. Sorry, guys, I'm so busy that I didn't tell anybody or remind anybody about this meeting today, and I haven't taken a shower or anything. I'm so busy. Um, Literally just got off another Zoom with somebody else. How come you haven't connected with Jennifer Beatles, or have you, to buy out-of-state properties? I mean,
I've seen her deals and they're just the return on them is not bad, but I'm finding like her cap rates I think are like around 8 to 10.
I mean,
Whereas mine are
they're not her deals. So, her MO is that agents that are understanding investment properties around the country, they partner with her as like a partner agent, and they send those deals to her that then I don't know what her vetting level is. She puts them into probably her format, and then they blast it to her on her deal list. And then what happens is that buyer is referred to that agent that has that deal to work directly with them, and she just collects a referral fee, right? It operates on its own. It's a brilliant model. But yeah, so you're saying that because those deals are not like her deals where she's controlling any of the returns, or like a wholesale might take a piece of it. They're
What
just
cap rate are you looking for, Ian?
I'm well, before I was getting close to 20, but now I'm looking at like above 15 because prices have gone up so much, it's kind of compressed the cap rate. So
Yep.
but yeah, and when I say her deals, I mean I guess the deals that she sends,
yeah.
maybe not necessarily hers, but the ones that she sends that I get from her that she sends to me, those are I'm usually looking at like when I evaluate them, I'm usually getting around 8 to 10 caps on those, which isn't bad, but I've been able to find, for my own stuff a bit higher.
Is that because you're in a different because you're in a different market than her deals are? Or is it because you're actually digging harder, and maybe some of these agents are not digging, they're just having deals off their desk?
Yeah, I'd probably say I'm looking a little bit harder. Like the one that I told you about that I got for 50,000, it originally appraised for 110. It was a bank-owned property, and I could see the bank was dropping the price. They started at 110, they dropped it next month 100, then 90. Every month they dropped it 10,000, And when it went to 80, I was like, well, I'll offer them 50 and see what they say, and then they first rejected the offer.
This was listed.
Yeah, it was listed.
Yeah.
It was listed, but like I said, every month they dropped the price down.
Right.
So then I just kind of like threw a 50,000 offer at them. And at first they rejected it, but then the next day they called me and took it. So
right.
Stuff like that is like not the typical stuff that people are getting, I guess.
I hear you. Word. Good stuff.
I did want to mention that thing we had last week. It's kind of interesting. I talked to my attorney again about how we could not evict or we cannot end a month-to-month lease.
In Washington.
In Washington. I talked to the attorney again, and one thing that I mentioned to him is that he was saying, like, so if you have a house and you live in it, it's a shared kitchen, then you can give a 20-day notice to terminate tenancy.
Yeah, I believe so.
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
Because that's not a traditional rental property. That's your owner occupied residence.
Okay.
That's a different caveat.
Okay.
Yeah, I could pull up I could probably pull that thing up and find the info on that in a minute here. Is that the situation that you were worried about? Is that you want to evict somebody that's a co-tenant with you?
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, before what I was looking to do was buy homes in Washington instead of apartment complex, and then, like 5-bedroom home and put tenants in all the, so that makes a big difference then. So that's huge.
If you live there. If you live there.
I could see Ian moving into his rental properties and be like, out. Get out. I don't think they would look highly upon that.
There is also something where if you have tenants that are sharing, like let's say somebody who's on the lease moves out and they left a roommate that you didn't know about behind. What you have to do is you have to offer that roommate, that left behind person that wasn't on the lease, an opportunity to sign on the lease. And if they, or vacate in 30 days.
Yeah,
and then
sign or vacate.
Sign or vacate. And if they, obviously, and then you can, like I said, evict them if they don't do that. Right? If you follow that procedure. But, I think one way to do this kind of stuff is also, it is complicated. They clearly want you to, this minimum lease renewal thing is tricky. But if you have a month-to-month situation, you either have to go back and get into this 6-month to 12-month lease thing in order to be able to notice them, or you have to move in, or you have to or have an immediate family move in, or you have to sell it, or you have to substantially renovate it, right? But if it's just some tenant, that you want to leave and you want to continue owning the property as just a regular old rental property, you have to get yourself into this lease, either a 6-month or 12-month lease. If it's a 6-month lease, you have to offer them a renewal. You have a mandatory renewal offer you have to make. And how you get around that is that you can give them a reasonable rent increase, right? And if they don't take it, then you can give them 30 days notice to vacate. It's kind of like you're handcuffed if they say yes, if you really want them to get out, right?
Yeah.
But what's reasonable?
Well, I think the idea of reasonable might be like, you can back it up with my taxes went up, my real estate taxes went up, I had to replace the roof, and you can tie it back to something, and so, you have to give a 60-day notice for a rent increase, and that notice needs to line up with the last day of the rental period, right? So you know, if your rental period is the 1st through the 30th, and you want to give them a 60-day notice of a rent increase on the 10th of the month, your 60-day count won't start until the end of that rental period that you're in, right? So if you wanted to give somebody a rent increase and you gave it to them, you know, September 15th, and you were on a calendar 30-day rental period, your 60-day notice would start. You'd have to get to the end of September, and then you'd have October and November, and then December 1st would be that rent raise. So the big thing about noticing that everybody needs to remember is the notice needs to expire at the end of the rental period, right? That's I think a factor related to it. So has a expiration date, and like if you said, hey, I want to give you this notice, and I'm giving you this 30-day notice, and you don't tie it to an expiration and say, you know, I couldn't remember the words I used. I could check my notes real quick, but expiration dates and having it expire and land at the end of a rental period of that 30 days is important. Otherwise, you're adding on all that extra time during the month, you know what I mean? Of the extra time. So when people say, yeah, you can give a 90-day notice to vacate, you better make sure that that 90-day notice to vacate ends and that notice expires on, let's just say, the last day of the rental period, the 30th day of the month. Or you have to include all those days to get you to the starting point where you can have your, you know, 90-day notice run and expire that notice on the end of the rental period. You guys get what I'm saying? It's important. Or you have to start over. If you mess up the expiration of your notice not landing on the last day of the rental period, you'll have to start over. That's a big one. Right? What's up, Chris Myers? Hey, Kristen.
Hello, how's it going?
What's going down, brother? How are you? What are you up to? You need any help with anything? Or what's going on in your world?
Not much. I'm just building a couple houses, and I had a pretty lazy, relaxing summer. So
that is fantastic.
Yeah, it was kind of nice.
I also goofed off this summer, as those of you who are my Facebook friends would notice.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it goofing. I'd say spending time with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of time with the kids, but yeah, not much going on here. Just trying to get back into the whole networking thing now that summer's slowing down.
Yep. Well, I don't tell you, like September 1st, all of a sudden my business bomb went off and people are back to work. So lots of stuff going on. So you're looking for your next deal, right? Your next opportunity to flip or build or buy and hold?
Yep. We just sold a property in Seattle, and we just are finishing up our 2 new builds in Bellevue. And then I'm just working on this actually remodel for a customer here in Sammamish. So we are looking to purchase another flip or new build, preferably permit ready, because we all know how long it takes to get permits right now. And then I'm also looking, like you and I talked about via text the other day, for a rental. So
right.
Just trying to get my foot in the door and start accumulating some properties.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, the hard part is you've got the expertise to maximize the value on, you know, is anybody here buying rental properties in the Pacific Northwest? Are you want to have it locally here, Chris? Because you'd be better off doing what Ian's doing probably and buying, you know, something out of state where you might have a chance of getting something sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you're going to flip to hold, which you're the expert at, but you just got to find the right property, right?
Yeah, and that's where I feel like I need to start getting back into the networking, because I've just been very off of social media and not really talking to anyone, just doing my own thing for the last few months. So I just need to start trying to find. I'm not doing any. We stopped doing our own marketing really right as COVID hit back in April of like 2020. So we've just been busy with all the stuff we had in the pipeline, and now that we're starting to clear some of that stuff out, we're kind of trying to decide if we're going to start doing our own marketing again, or if we're just going to start networking and building relationships with other people who are doing that work and trying to find deals that way.
Do you guys ever buy from wholesalers?
Yeah, we do. The hard part is I'm always out in the field, so I'm not super quick to respond, and Jessica is never super quick to respond. So that's where I'm, again, just trying to get back into the whole, like, having conversations with people and freeing up some of my time to get on top of that. But yeah, we've bought from wholesalers many times.
Yeah. Well, I got one right now for you, but it's in Shoreline. It would be potentially a flip and an ability to build a dadu in the big lot, which is adjacent, which is owned by the property. But in Shoreline, still, you have to have owner occupancy in order to, you have to live in there in order to rent out the house or the dadu or be able to do that, right? You guys agree? You guys follow me? Is anybody paying attention to that? Shoreline is still owner occupancy requirement. I imagine that'll change, but flip opportunity.
I like Shoreline. It's a good market, but they're really difficult to deal with when it comes to permits and stuff.
Well, I might have something for you. I actually sold the property kitty corner to somebody who flipped it. So I might run it by you.
Yeah. I've also been toying with the idea. I know we've talked about this for a long time. And there's a handful of people that are actively doing it with, like, the Compass Concierge and EXP's, what is it called?
Curbio.
Yeah. But trying to,
express offers,
earn some listings and some commissions by offering up construction services paid at closing.
Yeah.
Just at this point, like, I don't need to buy a flip. Like, I could take the next few months off and just be totally fine, but, like, that's just not how I am. So I'm like, if we're not going to find a flip anytime soon because things are so crazy and we just can't find something that fits our margins, then maybe I start, doing other little things to make money.
Yeah. I have, I can talk to you about that, because the express offers thing that you have access to would be a great lead generator for you on that. Me, myself, even have that going on and have two essentially kind of like project management, projects associated with my listings, exactly what you're describing, based off lead generation through the express offers stuff, which you have access to. So let's talk separately about that.
Okay.
We'll circle up on that.
Project management is like my specialty. That's what I'm good at. So I figured if I could, and I'm used to managing big projects. So if I could get something where I got to put in a kitchen and a bathroom and then put it up for sale, that's quick and easy.
Right.
Hey, Chris, do you work on Mercer Island?
I do. I live in Issaquah, Mammoth.
Hey,
there you go, Julie.
Yeah, I hear you. That's right. I have a Mercer Island one just that you're describing that I was talking to Keith about yesterday. So all good stuff. Luckily, Chris is in my VIP education community, so we're already connected on the back end here. But yeah, you should basically, by the way, side note, say that in the VIP page that you should say, hey, if you guys have leads that need project management associated to help you close your lead, I'm your guy. Put that in VIP. I have two places I'll tell you to put that, but VIP Facebook page is one of those.
Okay.
What else is happening? Conrad, what's up with you? Calling you out.
Hi, everyone. I'm here for kind of two things, I guess. Learn and listen. I've thought about purchasing my own rentals, but I have not. So I'm nowhere near what you guys are at. But so I'm here to kind of learn and get to know some of you. I'm also an insurance agent. I attended one of these podcasts or Zoom meetings a couple months ago. But I had a product that pretty well fits with what you guys do.
Oh, you're the utility insurance guy, right?
That's right. Yep. Good
All
memory.
right, yeah. Okay, welcome, Conrad. I didn't even put two and two together. Go ahead.
No problem. Thank
Go
you.
ahead, guys. So this is something you haven't heard of before, everybody. And it's a type of an insurance product. And I'll let Conrad take the stage from there for a minute so he can tell you what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time, but I know as you landlords have so many properties and so much responsibility, right? And I'm sure that there's a lot of things where you would love to hand off the responsibility to someone else. And that's what we're here for. We have a product to take care of water and sewer line repairs. And so I'm not sure how often it happens, but I know it does, where tenants call and they say, oh, I have a water leak. I need to get this taken care of, or my sewer line broke and nothing's going down the drains. And so then you, as the owner, have to, take care of that whole situation. And you have to be the ones to find somebody out of the yellow books and call them and pay them an absurd amount for a 24/7 fix. And it gets messy and it gets expensive. And so we have a product just for these kind of situations for homes where we can insure the water and sewer lines outside. So the ones that are buried. And if they ever have any issue, we'll be there 24/7 to repair them. No cost, zero deductible. And it's $10,000 of coverage per line. And so we've been selling this for a number of years with AAA Washington, and we sell these primarily to single family homeowners, just normal homeowners, but we've also started to join rental associations. And, that's why I thought this podcast might fit well, since you guys are large owners of a large amount of properties. I thought.
So it's utility line insurance for your rentals.
Yep, exactly right.
What would apply here. So, yeah. So that includes a sewer line, a main line water pipe. And what's the cost of something like that?
For the water, it's $7 a month, and for the sewer, it's $8 a month. And so you can buy
$10,000 of coverage.
Yep. So water gets 10,000 and sewer gets 10,000. So if there ever needs to be a repair, if there's ever a backup, if there's ever a leaky pipe, we'll be there 24/7 to repair it. We have contractors all over Washington that are ready to go at any time. And so especially for the older homes, we take care of natural wear and tear and old age. I know a lot of your rentals are probably older. And so as those pipes eventually wear out or roots get in, something happens. That's what we're here for.
And how much per month?
For water, it's $7. It's flat rates in Washington. So it's $7 for water and $8 for sewer every month.
Okay.
And what happens if somebody buys a policy and then a month later something goes down? Is there like I don't want to say like vesting period or
there is a 30-day waiting period, but after that, what would happen if there's ever an issue? The tenant would probably call you first, and you would just call us. So it just takes one phone call, and we'll take care of the rest. We'll get in contact with the homeowner. We'll take care of the repair, and we'll take care of the bill. So after you give us a call, we'll take care of everything. So it just kind of.
Here's a crazy question. What if I bought a property and I was going to flip it? Okay. And I was going to flip this property and I bought it and it's taking me 3 months to do my flip. And after 30 days, I discover, oh crap, the sewer line's busted, right? Or something. Then what happens? I call you up and you replace the sewer line up to $10,000?
Yeah, so
that's what everybody's wondering. So we have to straight out and ask it.
Right. We don't do full replacements. It would just be spot repairs that need to be repaired. We don't take care of, pre-existing issues. So if the problem has been there before, which it most likely would in this scenario, it was already there before you bought it.
Okay, so as part of the signing up for the insurance policy, do you scope the sewer to determine the current value? Then how do you know if it's a pre-existing issue or not?
Right.
The contractors are pretty good at understanding how long the issue has been there.
That sounds very variable-y. That sounds like an argument.
Right. Well, I'm not quite sure how they exactly diagnose how long the problem's been there or not.
I mean, you buy a 100-year-old house and, you live in it for 6 months and the sewer starts having issues, I mean, that's a pre-existing condition, right? It's not like that just happened. It's a 100-year-old house.
Right. And it's just
There's got to be. Yeah.
the repairs are situational. If it's a 100-year-old house and 6 months later the line collapses, we'll repair it because the collapse wasn't there when you bought it. The line may be brittle, and that wouldn't be a pre-existing issue. It would only be pre-existing if it has already collapsed before you bought it, and you would know immediately you bought the home and the sewer line wouldn't work.
That's interesting. What do you guys think? Go ahead,
Just gotta
Ian.
just gotta read the fine print, I guess.
It's pretty cheap. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Does sound good though.
I've actually used this in a Pittsburgh house because the pipes, they bury them about 8 feet, like 8 to 10 feet underground because of how cold it gets.
Right.
So, and what happened was, what we think happened was we saw the utility company, like the construction people, like for the roads, were at the end of my street, and that's where the pipe was broken. And it's kind of tricky to get them to actually fix it though, because I called up the insurance company. I said, hey, the pipe's broken. I had a plumber come out and scope it, and they saw a broken pipe. And the insurance company said, well, you need to send a plumber out there to snake it. And I was like, snaking it's not going to fix it. There's a broken pipe. But they said, this is our procedure. You have to get a clog and have the plumber come out 3 times. And after the 3rd time, then they'll come out and fix the broken pipe. So it was kind of a process, but in the end, they did fix the broken pipe, which probably would have been 10,000-15,000 to repair.
Right.
So it worked out for me. But I don't know, for like over here, it's may not be as challenging and as expensive as it is in Pittsburgh, because we don't bury our pipes that deep.
Well, I mean, for $8 a month, why not, right? It's not like a huge.
Right.
What's the downside for $8 a month? I mean,
that's why I got it. It's like, it's so cheap,
Yeah. Right. What do you have to say, Conrad? What else you want to say?
Well, that's basically it. I think Ian nailed it on the head. Homeowner policies, most of them don't take care of these kind of issues. Some of them do. Those that do, it's going to probably be a large deductible, and they're going to probably increase your homeowner rates in general. And they don't have, the expertise that we have. We've been doing this for a long time. We're the first company in Washington to come out with this product back when. And so, basically just homeowner policies they exclude this type of thing, which is why we offer it. And like you said, for $8 a month for, most of your properties that are older, I think it would probably be pretty beneficial for some of you.
Do you guys cover duplexes, up to 4 units, or just single families, or how many units?
As many as you have. We insure apartments, we insure triplexes, duplexes, anything. So for any
Commercial
triplex,
buildings? Commercial buildings?
Commercial buildings, not commercial, but for any triplex or larger, it actually is, it's $5.60 per month per unit. So it changes a little bit, not too much. So.
Gotcha. Huh, interesting. Do you guys like this? I kind of like it. It's kind of a low cost. It's like a low cost gamble, right? What do you think, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, for a homeowner, I don't know that I would, it's not a lot of money, but I don't know that I'd want to go through the hassle of dealing with it on like a flip project, but we also scope our sewers before we buy them. So.
Right. I don't probably, I don't know about the, it doesn't make sense to me on a flip project, but it does for landlords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just for landlords. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any other questions about it. I'll think about Conrad. Maybe if I'll get some more feedback, come join us again. Let's continue to see how people react to what you're talking about here. What do you think, Ian? Would you do it if you had a portfolio? How about mobile homes? Can you do it? I guess it doesn't matter.
No, I wouldn't do it for that. I already have a team in Georgia that can do all the repairs I need. But if I were to go into like another state where I don't have a team, I would consider it because of how cheap it is.
But I mean, I imagine if you have a team, what does that mean? The team will do what?
Well, in my team, I have a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, all that stuff. So we deal with broken pipes all the time. So it's not, it wouldn't be worth it because I don't pay like a normal $10,000 to fix a broken pipe. I pay my guys like $12 an hour.
Yeah, but if it costs you $8 times 12 months versus paying your guys, doesn't it? I'm just not arguing for Conrad here, but isn't it cheaper to use Conrad?
Well, no, I don't think so. Like we don't deal with it. It doesn't happen every year.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like it. That I only had that one happen one time with all the properties that I own. So it's a very rare occurrence that I'll actually use it.
Right. Gotcha. Still good. Good to know though, Conrad. Good to know. You should go meet my friend Jennifer Beatles. Look her up. Agents Invest. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell her I sent you.
Okay.
Jennifer Beatles. Agents, just go to agentsinvest.com and say, hey, Julie Clark told me to come say hi to you to let you know I exist.
All right, I'll do that.
Cool. What else is going on with you guys? Keith, any updates in Loan World? I'll tell you what Keith and I were talking about yesterday. So I've got, oh, he's on the phone. So I've got a property that I have a listing agreement on that was an off-market lead generated. And it is a big house over 3,000 square feet in Mercer Island, and it needs a full remodel. And, we're going to be listing it in a few weeks, but we have people that we had an off-market offer on it. And the challenge is that it has rats and it has a roof that might pass for another 2 years. And it needs we have siding that's all crinkled and falling off on the weather side and this and that, right? So for a conventional loan, the answer is it probably wouldn't pass the appraisal without having all these conditions called out, which we don't really want to deal with the roof because we don't want to open that can of worms and have it be worse than we're expecting or anything like that. And timing wise, we just don't want to deal with that kind of stuff and engage in that. So what Keith and I talked about, go ahead, Keith. We have a buyer that made an offer and they were going to put 50% down on a conventional loan. And we're like, it's not going to pass conventional appraisal. So I called Keith and Keith and I talked about go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, so they could just do a conventional renovation loan. So we have to have a subject to appraisal in a renovation loan. So basically we go in there and say, yeah, there's rats and there's bad siding and there's possibly a roof situation that we can or can't see. So then we get together with the contractor and say, hey, the scope of work is going to be $100,000. So they'll put 50% down, then we'll add the $100,000 budget to it and then do a total loan amount for the 650 plus the 100,000, so 750 and off and running. We don't care what the condition of the house is. Period.
And why that's appealing to me is I want to bring a retail buyer who will pay more than an investor to this house, yet I can't get through a conventional loan with this buyer. Right. And so the renovation loan is a perfect solution to allow us to avoid roofs and rats because they don't care.
And now in jumbo size, I could do up to $1 million total.
Right.
Loan.
So my house that I'm talking about the house I'm working on is on Mercer Island. And so the purchase price of the house is probably 1.3 to 1.4, right? So let's say if it was 1.3 and they put 50% down, that's 650. Then they need another 650 of the loan, right, to buy it. Let's just say if it was 1.3, but they need to do a renovation for several $100,000 on top. That loan amount of 650 they want, plus they could get up to 350 grand, which we're talking Mercer Island, 3,200 square foot home, could be $300,000. The max loan amount is $1 million. So that fits perfectly, right? Most people probably have much lower numbers that they can make this work. And what was the loan to value on that, on the overall exit ARV that had to happen?
So on the exit ARV, so we could go
Yeah.
up to owner occupied. Well, depending, let's talk about conventional first. Conventional can't exceed the high balance loan limit in the Tri-County area, which is 776,250. But it could go owner occupied up to 95% LTV, right? On the jumbo stuff will go to 85% total.
85% owner
Of
occupied.
the ARV.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So in my case, because it's jumbo, it's 85%, which we're totally in line with in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, and they get to choose your own adventure. Like we were discussing last night, they could stay in conventional world, put their 650 down, and then pull out $100,000 and stay under that 70-76 and just do the bare minimum, right? Just fix the roof, fix the siding, get rid of the rats, right? Or they could go big time and say, hey, let's put down the 650,000 bucks. And now we have a new budget going back up to $1 million. We have a new budget of $350,000 to totally pimp out the house. Right, because the ARV is going to be exponentially higher after that happens above your 1.3 original acquisition cost.
Right. So in a nutshell, what's important for everybody to know is that now this doesn't have anything to do with investment properties, right?
Conventional will do an investment property. Yep, 80%.
Renovation loan.
Renovation loan. Yeah, but you're capped at that loan limit, so you couldn't do anything above the 776.
Well, wait a minute. So if then but what's the down required?
20%.
20%.
So it'll do 80% loan to value as opposed to 95 on an owner.
Why the hell would somebody, sorry, Alex, use hard money in that instance if it's an investment property? Why would they, if they were putting, because I know investors like to put less down, but if they were
closing time.
Oh, gotcha.
Closing time. Alex can close in 2 weeks. That's a 45-day close.
So why doesn't somebody close with Alex and then refinance Alex out to your loan? The renovation loan?
Because refinances are expensive. So if you're going to go that way, you might as well just do it that way and get it done there and then come to me for the permanent financing long term.
Because the difference in rate.
Because you're gonna have title, escrow, appraisal.
4.5%. Okay, yeah, I got you.
You're gonna have all those hard costs again for a mortgage.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I understand.
You're gonna have that $4,000. You're gonna have that $4,000 baked in there.
Yeah, but can't $4,000. Let's say it's $4,000 on the difference between 4.5% and 12%. Isn't that? I don't know what the math is. I haven't, I mean, that's where my brain's going. So if you had
then you'd have to throw it into your spreadsheet and see how long the flip is going to be, how long the hold costs are going to be, and look at whether or not that difference in rate is worth the incurring the $4,000.
You know what else is a pain in the ass, which I need to ask you, is the scope of work issue, right? Having in the renovation loan, right? With Alex, it's probably easy to get that closed, right? And with the scope of work and the contractor's already there. And with your side, I needed to ask you that for my own deal that we talked about yesterday. What's the timeline look like if I had a contractor and I brought it to you, Keith, that had a scope of work on your format, right? Somebody willing to do that, right?
Yeah.
The hard part is the drag on time is finding somebody to do that, right? But let's say that was doable and there was somebody ready to go to do that. How long does it take you guys to process? Because I assume you got to set up the draw process. You got to do, is it a 60-day close or what is it?
45.
45.
Yeah.
I mean, for the opportunity to have that product available, 45-day close is not such a big deal,
Nope.
right?
Correct.
And I mean, just as a heads up, I do tell borrowers all the time, look, if you can go conventional, if you can get conventional financing in a project, do that. You come to lend like certain lending, if, maybe your tax returns just make you ineligible, right? Or if you've already got 10 Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loans, or maybe your DTI is just completely out of whack. All right, now we'll talk. But if you can get conventional, get conventional. It's going to be so much cheaper for sure.
Right, but I mean, to Keith's point, if somebody needs a quick close, that's not going to happen with Keith. They got to take it down with you because you guys
Right.
operate a lot faster. But for you as an agent, if you're an agent or you're doing investor agent stuff and you come across a lead, for example, like Chris Myers here, or Holly or myself or anybody else like that, that's going dual with agents and investing, knowing this product exists for those, you can't control. Sometimes the seller wants too much that you can't bring it to your flip client, right? So this particular house, I'm trying to get them all in there, but I don't think the numbers pencil. And I know I can get a retail buyer who wants to remodel it to pay more, right? So then the problem is I either have to have a retail buyer come with cash, right? So I don't have to do the appraisal, or if they need to get a loan, they're going to need to get a reno loan so I can avoid these appraisal issues that would squash any other type of loan. Or I can send them off to Alex. I could send them off to Alex.
There's a handful of retail buyers that, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, he can't touch them because they're owner occupied units, right? We are missing so many owner occupied rehab purchases out there that are going at a discounted rate to investors, that these people,
because they don't know this product exists.
They don't know it exists. Agents don't know it exists. They don't know it exists. They don't know that a first-time home buyer with 5% down could buy a $500,000 house and then have a $270,000 budget to pimp that shit out.
But Keith, didn't we, the videos that you made me for VIP, didn't we talk about it at that time? But now something's changed for some reason. Either your ability to service that went away for a bit and now you have it back, or remember you made me some videos? The
rental loans through the US government, FHA and VA went alone because they wouldn't send out their inspectors to any of the job sites.
Okay.
So the only one that we had available to us was Fannie Mae's Homestyle, right? So FHA and VA are now back on. And guess what? VA has no limit. VA will do a $2 million reno straight out the gate for owner occupied, right? But you guys,
that's right. So that's the key, is that I can't send them to Alex because the owner occupancy thing.
Bingo. Yeah.
Right.
So if you have a retail owner occupied buyer that's getting punched in the face because they can't escalate, have them go find a rehab. And then owner occupy, we do that same 45-day close. They can pay more than the investor's willing to pay, because guess what? They don't have a margin. They don't have a spread that they're trying to make.
Right.
They're trying to find somewhere where to crash their family and live.
Right. Gotcha.
And we get to look at our ARV and what their scope of work is. So it's super powerful. Styles and I have done a couple of these.
Yeah.
And they're just awesome. But like I said, Alex does investor space. We do owner occupied space. That's one really good differentiation between the two
Chris Myers, this is you all day long. What we're talking about, if you're still there, this is you all day long, right? You can serve up the loan with somebody like Keith for that renovation loan, and you're the contractor, right?
Yeah. Keith, is there any restrictions on me being the agent and the contractor?
No.
Okay, because I did a renovation loan through FHA on my personal residence. It was a giant pain in the ass.
Okay.
They wouldn't allow me to be the contractor. I had to hire a contractor.
FHA. You're right. FHA would have a problem with that. Yes, FHA would have a problem with that. Conventional wouldn't. Okay. So FHA, they have an identity of interest mandate that you can't be double dipping on a contract, right? So if you're a real estate agent and licensed as a mortgage person, you couldn't be both. If you're a real estate agent and the contractor on a rehab loan, you couldn't be both. They would
So,
have you go
Chris,
to a third party.
you're in your scenario, you would just decide which one's going to make you more money on that lead,
Yeah.
being the contractor or the agent. And if you needed an agent, you would just call me up and then I would do that. Could he collect a referral fee or probably not? I don't know.
Well, do they even need to know about that?
We wouldn't know about that unless you give us your
Right,
agent
exactly.
disbursement form, which I don't
Exactly.
advise you guys giving us your agent disbursement.
So there you go, Chris. That would work for you, right?
Yeah.
So
So I can talk to you, Chris, about how to help you generate those leads that you have at your fingertips. Okay, so text me some times that we can do a follow-up little meeting, just you and me.
Okay.
Cool. What else is going on? Alex, you seen anything weird happening or any stuff going on in your world? Any changes, any momentum, any patterns, any?
iBuyers. Or not necessarily, well, not necessarily iBuyers, but like, larger funds,
Mhm.
or, like some of the really big syndications are getting a lot more active, especially in like Southern US, Southeast US, that kind of area.
And you're working with them or they're beating your investors on deals?
We're financing some of them, yeah.
Your financing, because doesn't Wedgwood has whatever their own company is, whatever that is, Civic,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So that's good. That's
So I
good.
mean, I would say
Weird.
that,
I find that weird though, that these institutional iBuyers don't walk in the door with their business model, having their funding lined up.
so that's why I was saying like they're not exactly iBuyers, so to speak. It's like kind of like this next wave of funds that are looking to buy, like a lot of rental properties and basically let people buy in for like, a couple thousand per property for a small share.
A
They're kind of
fractional,
syndicating.
fractional.
Yeah.
So
they're-
fractional ownership.
Yep. Yeah. Very fractional. Like some of them are saying, hey, look, you can get in for as little as like $100 on a single property.
Who
So
would do that? That's kind of just, that sounds
It's
like a
kind of
lot of
stupid.
work. It
It's a
does
lot
sound-
of work.
I'm not going to make any judgments on the validity of it, but some of them are buying some pretty nice properties. And so it's been interesting seeing, them say, hey, look, I'm going to buy 50 properties in 1 month in North Carolina, or I'm going to buy, a dozen properties in Texas this month.
So they're crowdfunding. They're crowdfunding those deals somehow. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's different organizations with different takes on like, basically crowdfunding deals.
Have you guys heard of Picasa, which is now buying vacation properties and offering to manage them, doing full management and get it in? It's not a timeshare. It is, have you heard of Picasa? It's Spencer Raffskoff from Zillow, the ex-Zillow president, has started this group or something. Picasa. It's like fractional ownership of vacation properties that are not timeshares. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can I say? That's interesting. I had my first, here's an interesting one. I went on an appointment and had my first run-in. It was an investor deal. I'm still working on it. It was a dilapidated house in Northeast Seattle. And the seller reached me through Express Offers, Chris and Holly, and you guys that have access to that. And total renovation deal, total flip property, and or buy and hold, I guess. And when I got there, he had already gotten an off-market offer from Redfin Now for $800 and something thousand, smack in the middle of Seattle. So, these institutional iBuyers, Zillow, Redfin, which is called Redfin Now, Open Door, right? OfferPad. Their initial business model was they were buying properties, even pretty houses. They don't necessarily buy beat up houses. I'm sure they all prefer them to have as little rehab needed as necessary, right? But they were capping the prices that they were paying. They only wanted to be in markets where the home value is maxed out around 500 or maybe even 250,000. Okay. Well, Redfin now is now buying properties close to full market value, and Zillow, but especially Redfin now in Seattle, and like in the jumbo loan, jumbo size, 800 and something grand. What I think is amazing is what I'm saying is that we haven't had the traditional big time iBuyers in our market. I think Zillow is buying homes in like Tacoma maybe, but they're not buying homes in smack in the middle of Seattle. At least maybe they are now. And those type of guys, we're going to those low priced markets, right? So we're not affected in Seattle and these places. Unlike Arizona, Florida, where they're getting this huge market share down there, right? Competing with agents and investors. If you're an investor, you're not going to beat Zillow or Redfin because they don't care. Their margin on the actual real estate transaction can be super small. They're looking to get it resold and push them down the line to their mortgage escrow and sales process, right? That's where they're making their money. Unlike a investor coming out of Seattle Investors Club needs to make that big return, right, on the flip. So they are now competing with regular investors, if you get what I'm saying. And I just find it really interesting that I went on an appointment in Northeast Seattle where the purchase price, even as it is probably 6 something, even for an investor, right? An investor is probably going to want to pay 6 something and then flip it to the 9s. And Redfin now went in and made this guy an offer for like $870. And yes, they went and they're going to do their own inspection. So they're probably going to like bring the price down substantially once they do their inspection, right? But it sounds like they're just agreeing to whatever that seller will agree to sell to. And they are giving them an LOI and engaging in the process with that seller to then, they're in our market now. It's crazy. So the game has now changed for both investors and agents in our market because this is starting to happen. You guys following me? Some people might say it's a threat. To me, as an investor agent and knowing how to talk to them, it is a golden opportunity that will help me keep my fees up. Because no longer am I a real estate agent. I can be an investor. I can make an offer to buy that deal, right? But if I can't buy it, I can be the agent. And it used to be that there's all these discount agents that are out there saying, oh, I'll list it for you for 1% or whatever. Now the business model is, as I'm telling Holly the other day, let me collect all these offers for you from Redfin, Zillow, local investors, express offers, and I'm going to line them all up for you. And we're going to figure out which one's going to give you the highest net proceeds. And we'll compare it to what a traditional listing would look like, just so you have that information. And you can decide, I'm going to be your consultant that is going to go gather all this up for you. Right. And now all of a sudden, my value is back where I'm earning my fees as an agent. It's like a blessing, not a curse, in my opinion. Because go ahead, Keith.
This is weird because if you look at the Redfin Now model, it says real estate agent fees 0, and it says traditional sales 6, but then it says Redfin Now service fees 5 to 13%.
Correct.
So do you have to be a stupid idiot to not see that? I mean, if we're looking at everything being equal in their very dumbed down marketing approach to this, I'm looking at traditional sales per their own disclosure, 6%, but their service fees could be 13%. Why would anybody?
But that is still cheaper than a local investor is going to offer them because they want a 25% discount. Okay. So my point is the reason why it's a threat to local investors is because Redfin and Zillow, they're not focused on making their profit margin be as high as what an investor needs because they are engaging in the process to offer other services, title, escrow, mortgage. That's where they're also making their money, right? They're making their money there. So, and they're willing to go on volume and slim margins, right? They're okay. In Arizona and Phoenix and these places in Las Vegas, they are paying full market value, 100%, sometimes even more of the market value of these properties.
Yeah. So my question is, like, do they give you the number and then inspect the property and then adjust the number?
They give you an LOI. I got my hands on it, right? So I told the guy, look, I don't want to waste your time. I want to waste mine. So I need to be able to beat their offer. So you can either discuss it or you can just send it to me so I can look at it. And he sent it to me. So I have their paperwork, right?
What's the contingencies in the LOI?
It's not a binding LOI. It's just an LOI that they will now go, I could pull it up. I could see if I could pull it up. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I'd be curious because to me, a non-binding LOI is the equivalent of toilet paper, but to the uneducated consumer, they're like, oh yeah, Redfin's going to buy my house for that much money. And then probably in the LOI says some sort of physical inspection. And then they'll probably nickel and dime it down based off of whatever physical inspection they have.
Exactly. That is what's going to happen. But let me just get over here and I'll show it to you guys.
Just give that 5 years and you'll see a big old Warren, Elizabeth
Joe?
Warren bait and switch.
Hey, Joe, can you go down to screen share and say multiple participants can screen share? If you're there. He has to allow me to screen share.
It's just marketing. That's great.
He's like running down a trail right now.
Come on, Joe.
Joe, I need to screen share.
Joe.
Let me text him.
See you later, Alex.
Let me see. Joe, can I screen share?
Screen sharing is on. I'm just in a
screen share is on.
Starbucks where the internet is terrible.
Oh, no worries. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you guys see that?
Well, yeah, there it is. Oh, did they create that in DOS?
Look at that.
It looks like they created that in DOS.
I should have downloaded it. Let me see here. Let me go back and download it instead. Can you guys see what I'm doing?
Yeah. See that you have 53,000 unread emails.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Look at this.
Okay. Redfin fee is now 5.1% of the purchase
What's
price.
crazy is that this house is not worth $870. Okay, it's not. So when the guy called me, nobody here tried to steal my lead. By
Yeah,
the way.
don't go get Cliff. He's a nice guy.
So I'll hide the address here. You guys can write it all down. This house is the seller thought that he could get like 900, 950 for it. Okay. There's no way in hell. It's like for a flipper, it's going to be in the sixes. And for a retail buyer who wants to come in, maybe they might pay in the sevens or something, right? Or something like that. So I find it interesting that they offered him the no fucking way price of $870 as this agreement confirms that you would proceed with an estimated cash offer at $870. Okay, that's what it says. That you would like to proceed with an estimated cash offer at $870 and the Redfin fees of 5.1%.
That's where they're protecting. Look at button number 2 or bullet point number 2. Repair costs, if any, will be provided to you within 7 days, and we will provide you with the repair costs within 7 days of final inspection. These, along with all the closing costs, will be deducted from your net proceeds. They're backing it into an ARV.
Correct. So what the thing is it's a bait and switch. I'll agree to anything you say so I can engage with you as a lead. Do you see? Do you see what's going on? They don't care. They just want to engage with the lead. Yep. This is a lead engagement. And so they'll agree to anything. Okay. So I walked in the door and I said, Cliff, ain't never going to happen at 900 or 950 is your fully renovated, fully remodeled price. So this is after we walked through his house. Okay. So I said, somebody's going to buy this and remodel. There's nowhere near the prices. I didn't tell him a number. And then he said, well, I already went and got an offer from Redfin now. And I say, well, I just need to beat their offer. So tell me or send it to me so I can try and beat it. Let's not waste any time. So I got him to send this to me. But the reality is, closing to occur 10 to 90 days thereafter. Purchase contract will be drafted within 1 day of accepting the repair costs.
Repair costs, yeah.
Right, blah, blah, blah. Inspection. My first thought was they better not be goddamn giving this guy the inspection report, or that is trapping him. That's like predatory, because he doesn't have knowledge of everything wrong with the house, right? So you can't turn around and give him an inspection report, right?
Yeah.
Or
not without his request.
Right. So they're agreeing to conduct it, blah, blah, blah. As part of the inspection process, Redfin now and its affiliates partner may take photos. They also, guys, don't kid yourself. There is a reason they want the photos. Okay. It's for auto valuation purposes. They want the photos. Having photos of a house today is gold. Do you want me to guys give you a little tip as an agent? Call up homes that are on Zillow that have no photos and say, hey, are you interested in, learning what the auto valuations are? Let me come over there and take the photos and give them to you so you can put them on Zillow or whatever you want, right? If you've thought about, it's just a way to engage with people. It's an excuse to have an engagement with somebody. You guys follow what I'm saying a little bit?
This is sickening.
Repairs are deducted. And estimated note proceeds will be sellers can then choose to complete or cancel the sale of the property. Final net proceeds, less closing costs, the Redfin fair and repair costs. But Keith, this is the same way every single iBuyer operates. This isn't just Redfin now. So Open Door, Zillow, OfferPad, Redfin, they all operate the same way. It's no secret that they are going to knock your price down with the repair fees. All they care about, though, I'm telling you, forget all this. It's about the engagement. You tell me whatever price you want. I'll say, okay, here's the LOI that says I'm going to get you an estimated cash offer for this amount. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock it down to really where it needs to be. But you're engaged with me. I have you as a lead. It's lead generation. That's the gold. Okay. They're in the game now. Now, whatever happens, they're in the game, right? But from an investor point of view and an agent's point of view, Redfin is not, if I brought this to Redfin, so I could take Cliff, if he didn't know about this, and I'd say, Cliff, I'm going to go gather all this up for you, right? And if I bring this to Redfin and Redfin buys it, let's just say, I, as the agent, have to get myself paid. Redfin's not going to pay me. Zillow's not going to pay me. Open Door will pay me like 1.5%. Okay. This is a new game in town. This is competing with agents. It's also competing with investors. But if you are a smart agent, this is a blessing for you in disguise, because you are now a consultant. You're going to go get all these offers from all these people and present them to the seller. You don't have to meet with them all. You don't have to do anything. I got it all for you. I'm going to get you 4 or 5 of them. And then I'm going to make sure we're watching over them so they don't pull some shit on you. And I'm going to help you negotiate with them. And you're going to pitch which one works best for you. Right? And you're only going to have to pay 3%, not 5 or 6 to sell your property. I'm going to be the watchdog. I'm going to gather and watch over and protect you for 3%. I'm getting paid my full commission. As an investor in town, I'm worried because the investor in town can't compete with this because they'll pay more than you, because the investor's margin is they need to make a 25% spread or 20, where Redfin and Zillow and those guys are only going to need to make a 10% spread or 15. Do you follow?
Well, and they're also building their spread into the other side of the transaction when they go and sell this.
Correct. Not only are they are, but they're also collecting part of their spread on escrow title mortgage. Okay. And they can now serve this property up once they re-put it on to buyers, Redfin buyers,
Yep.
that they get both sides, right?
Yep, correct.
So do you see, to me, I'm like, hooray, as an agent, because I know how to speak this language. I've been ahead of the game for so long that it wasn't, when it's not commonplace, it's harder to deal with the sellers. If this is mainstream, I win as an agent. The people that are working with me, my agents that I'm training, are going to win. Okay. I can tell them how to win. Converse, it's harnessing this. It's a golden goose for us. It was painful when they're not here and all these discount brokers are out there saying, oh, you don't like that net proceeds number? I'll go list it for 1%. Well, now that Redfin and Zillow are here and they're going to pay you close to market, whatever the condition of your property is in, right? Then you're going to want to sell to them and they're going to cut us agents and investors out. Okay. Everybody's going to want to know what their Redfin now or their Zillow offer is at some point. Why not? It's curiosity, hassle-free curiosity. This is happening for 2 years in other markets. I've been watching it. I know exactly what to do. I run my own business this way, but it's not good for investors here locally. You guys following me?
Mm-hmm.
Because Cliff's house is getting an offer from Redfin now that's going to be way more than a flipper is ever going to offer, because their margins are lower that they need to make. And they're motivated to gain market share and say Redfin now, Redfin now, Redfin now. They will lose money to gain market share. A new development is that these types of buyers are buying $800,000, $900,000 properties, not $250,000 to $500,000 properties. The game is changing right before your eyes, guys. Once again, in our market, this has been happening and mastered by smart people in other markets, right? And I'm telling you, if you guys want to get smart, you hang with me, because I know exactly how to respond to this. And I'm so excited about it, I can barely wait. It just saved me from all these stupid other discount brokers in town that will go to these people and say, I'll do it for 1%, right? Investors, I feel sorry for you, flippers, because you now have competition from Redfin and Zillow, right? So
Wow.
how do you
So
do this?
how are you going to bring us back up, Julie? Because that's a downer.
Because I'm going to bring you back up. Now I'm going to bring you back up. If you're an investor, I'm going to bring you back up, right? If you're an investor, I'm bringing you back up because they don't want heavy duty remodels, right? They probably aren't going to want a full gut job, right? So your pocket is now probably just a heavier renovation, which is great for Chris Myers, right? Because that's what he does. That's makes him more money, right? But if you were like a lipstick flipper, or you're a prehabber where you buy it and just clean it up and put it back on, which was my favorite thing in the world, that I crushed it on those when I could do that a few years ago, that might not no longer be available. So you're gonna have to be more skilled in doing heavier duty rehabs, okay? The other thing that's happening, and I'm going to let you guys know, is there's a new player in town rolling out the door right now. And they are what they're going to do is, you guys have not heard of this yet. You don't know about it. Let me see who's all on here today. 10 people. Who are the 10 people? Okay. So for you who are attached to me, Holly, Chris, and some of you, I'm working on something super awesome related to this, but that benefits us, but there's a new player in town and they're called Sunday, Sundae. They're like Wedgwood. Do you guys know Wedgwood? Wedgwood is a not an institutional Zillow or whatever, but they're a big cash buyer of flip properties. They buy, you know, they could buy 20 properties a week at the auctions if they wanted to back in the day. I sell them properties. I wholesale them properties back in the day. But anyways, Sunday is going to roll into our market here. And it looks like on the outside, they're like, hey, we'll buy your house for cash group, which they are. But they are going to start a platform where investors can sign up and get access behind a firewall on a subscription to their off-market properties. And they are basically going to be working with agents and sellers direct that say, hey, if you don't want to list your property and you want hundreds of agents and thousands of agents, hundreds of agents to have a crack at buying your property, if you sign our marketing agreement, you can get on our platform for a 5% platform fee. But guess who pays that? The investor. The investor is going to pay the 5% platform fee, right? So, you know, like a wholesale deal where the investor pays the wholesale fee, right? When you have a wholesale deal, the investor pays the wholesale fee to whoever the broker or the agent is. So Sunday is coming into town with a platform that is essentially going to offer sellers a place to market their properties on like a website off the MLS where investors can get at it to buy those, right? I don't know if they're going to get away with it because of our local MLS here, but I think what they'll do is they will just not be members of the MLS in that case, right? And so that's another competitor in town where you guys, I will give you the heads up if you're interested, like Darren or anybody on here, Keith or somebody who is, I don't know, Chris, what you're up to, Chris Sun, what are you up to?
Hi everyone. So it's my first time here. Just a little bit introduction about myself. So I'm a full-time engineer, and I do RE invest during my part-time. So now I have two properties, and I'm looking for my next buy and hold rental property. So I've been learn and listen from some investor groups, and my experience also includes I made thousands of like cold call, but with no luck. And now my strategy is to connect to lender and wholesaler, maybe trying to find an off-market deal. So that's how I found you guys, and thank you
Awesome.
so much, Julie and Joe, for hosting this meeting. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, guess what? My friend Holly here. Holly, you there? Holly might be a good one for you to talk to help you find those deals.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you guys should connect. You should connect with Chris, Holly. Chris Sun here.
Yeah, just send me your number or contact info and I can follow up with you.
Yeah, thank you, Holly.
I help people find off-market deals.
Yeah, okay. Let me send you the chat here.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Holly. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, the point is there's a big changing landscape happening here, which is going to make us look more like those markets those iBuyers are in, like Arizona. I don't think to the same extent it'll roll out slowly, but the fact is that they're here. And it's kind of a game changer on, you know, where investors need to spend their focus if it ramps up, right? Which I assume that it will. So I find it interesting. So come back every week. I'll give you the update about, I'm keeping tabs on all that stuff. I think there's a way to still have successes regardless, but you just got to know what's going on, right? So you know where your niche is, where you can slip in there and get things done and get those deals or get those leads or get whatever. And that is it for today, because it's 12:45. You guys have anything that you need help on before we wrap up, since I did a bunch of talking? Anybody need any help? Darren, need any help? You're just showing up because you do every week? You're
Yeah, I
good?
like to try to get some motivation from you guys.
Very
It's working
cool.
too slowly.
Awesome.
That's why I'm here. Motivation. Thank you, Julie.
Thing, guys. All right. I'm gonna go over and
Thanks,
out.
Julie.
See you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Bye.